What's going on, people? Hope you are doing well. We're back for another reaction, another signing, early signing in the window. Sam Johnstone has joined Palace on a 4-year deal after his contract expired at West Brom. The 29-year-old has started his career in Manchester United, but it didn't quite work out from there. He's been in championship levels, also in England International. I'm here with Patrick, as always, to discuss the transfer. Patrick, as I mentioned, he has played for England before. He has played in the Championship as well as the Premier League. He's had 37 Premier League appearances for West Brom when they were there, but it's been limited throughout his career.
Yeah.
Has been pretty much lower league clubs. Are you happy with the signing?
I like it a lot. Again, as you mentioned, Man United Academy player. It's been out on loan quite a bit since being at United. And what I noticed also was that I did a little research, Dee. 2010 Under-17 European Championship, England won. Can you name the other keeper on that team?
We're going to 2010. It's nearly been 15 years.
It's 12 years. Name the other keeper on that team. Easy guess.
Sam Johnstone.
The other keeper with Sam Johnstone on that winning team.
Oh,
Jack Butland. Jack Butland on the same team. You see? Okay. Also, most ever player on that team, Connor Wickham.
Connor Wickham.
Seriously, so think about that. You think he's like old?
Like, I don't know, like another big. You said Connor Wickham.
Right.
With all due respect, I always believed in Connor Wickham. You're just injured. But anyways, yeah. Continue.
So I love the signing. Again, experienced player. Again, he'll probably battle Vicente, I'm gonna assume, for the number one. But like I said, I like it, man. I got him on a free too. Patrick's doing very, very smart business. We're not gonna spend a lot of money. I don't mind about what the contract's gonna be. If Butland goes out on loan, that's fine with me also, and have him come out next year when Vicente probably leaves on a free. But like I said, I think it's a very good pickup, and I like the way he plays. So I like it so far.
Well, we've had a bit of a spoiler alert because we was going to talk about Vicente Butland later on in the show, but trust me, we'll go into it in a bit more depth, and we're also going to talk about his stats. But before we do, just my reaction to the signing. Look, he's 29, 20, 30 next year. In terms of goalkeeper prime years, I feel like he's in his
now.
peak. It kind of reminds me of when Vicente joined us. He's been with us for like 3-4 years. Now he's going to leave. I'm not over the moon. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Sam Johnstone, great. I'm not over the moon as I was with other signings. I want him to prove himself. There has been maybe debatable about him with crosses into the box. Maybe that's one area he can improve. And another area could be his passing, which we're going to talk about. But Patrick, before we do, just quickly, are you surprised with us signing the goalkeeper in this window?
No, you made it great. You made the point just there. Vicente's last year of his contract. He's getting up there. He's 35 now. Butland, I just said, Butland and Johnstone, the same exact age, both 29. They're in their prime. What you did mention before, I know you mentioned some negatives. He's a very, very, very good shot stopper, D. And like Vicente is, and he's bigger than Vicente. He'll be more commanding in the box. And he's getting better with his feet. He's not great, but I watched a couple of videos. He can play a long diagonal. I mean, we always talk about Vicente's kicking being very, very poor. I think it would be improvement. And like I said, England International played in the Euros last year as a backup behind, obviously, Ramsdale and Pickford. But like I said, 29 years old in his prime for me as a keeper. We gave him at the right time. Was it a priority? Probably not. But it's forward thinking. I like the fact we're thinking about this season and next year. I think it's a good acquisition. I like it a lot.
See, I would have wanted a younger goalkeeper. Look, it's not because Sam Johnston's old, but end of the day, these football players, they are assets as much as I like it. And with Sam Johnstone, we've got an asset that might be quality. And sometimes I guess you can't get all the time younger players. He's an asset, but I feel like he's in his peak. Right now, his value won't go up even when we do sell him. So if he's a very good goalkeeper for us, then that would be great because he does his job. But I would have preferred the goalkeeper that's also young, but I guess it's a bit harder to do when with money, and it'll be higher value, and also who's out there. I'm not too sure. I'm not going to give you the answer for that, but that's what I would have preferred. I'll reserve my judgment until I see him play. Well, you mentioned about Vicente and Sam Johnstone, and let's get into it, Patrick, because the stats about his passing, that's the biggest worry for me. Not really a worry, but nowadays with modern goalkeepers, you need to be good with the ball on your feet. And in their system, it's ever so more important. Like, you need to be comfortable with the ball on your feet, playing out from the back. And these are the stats for Sam Johnstone throughout his career. So as you can see the appearances, what clubs he played for. And on the far right-hand side, you can see that PS percentage. That's his passing accuracy. Now, interestingly, throughout his career, at the bottom, you can see the total average. His average has been 51. And you can see it last year at West Brom, 56, 43. And in honesty, in comparison, I'm going to bring it up, in comparison to Vicente's last season was 75%. Before we look into the stats, I have to clarify this. Just because his stats were 56% last year at West Brom, or whatever, 50, yeah, it was 56%. It does not show the full picture because last season, West Brom were playing long balls.
Exactly.
So, of course.
Under Steve Bruce, exactly right.
And what's interesting about these stats, which is why I'm reserving my judgment, is that with England, in the 2 games he has played, we know that England likes to play out from the back. 95.8%.
96%.
That's a solid passing accuracy. I know it's only 2 games and the sample size is small, but you can see he's had some decent seasons at West Brom as well, 60%, 64%, but he has never reached that 75%. But he could under Patrick Vieira. So what do you make out of them stats, Patrick? I personally feel like the England one stands out for me, but it's hard. It's hard for me to say if he's a good passer or not when he hasn't played in the system that we are in right now. He hasn't been in that situation as much.
Right. And I think that's the key. It's a system, D. You talked about how West Brom play, and you see how England play. England play possession style, and Ramsdale, Pickford and Ramsdale are the 2 best players, goalies in the Premier League with their feet. They're excellent. There's no way he gets picked to play England if he's no good with his feet. And again, he'll only get better. You know, he's 29. He's only getting better. I mean, I definitely see him improving it. Was it good with West Brom? No, it hasn't been. But like I said, he doesn't let up. He doesn't do howlers. But to be honest with you, Butland isn't great with his feet. So again, like the fact that the stats aren't great, but again, stats on the different system under England were very good. I just feel he'll be better playing under us. I have no problem with that stat as far as it being poor. I think he'll only get better with his feet because he has to. No, it's modern day football. He has to get better.
Because I don't have any worries with his shot stopping. Like, he's a good goalkeeper. It's just really that area I will see under Vieira. Let's see if he handles that pressure because it's the Premier League as well. You have faster players, more smarter players, smarter pressing systems. It's going to be interesting. But of course, let us know throughout the show what you guys think about that as well, about his passing ability. Now, let's talk about Vicente. We mentioned Vicente, comparing him. Vicente's got 74.9% last year in terms of passing accuracy. But Vicente is in his last year of his contract. So in terms of this season that's coming up, do you expect Sam Johnstone to be a starter? When does he fit into this Palace side for you, Patrick?
You know, when Butland came, I kind of knew Butland would be a backup, and what he did last year, which was basically play cup games, play when Vicente was either out of form or injured, and that happened. He got maybe, what did he get, like 15 games this season last year, I think Butland played. But with Johnson, I think Johnson's going to definitely push Vicente for number 1 spot. I don't think he brought him in as an automatic backup. Again, he's an England backup keeper. He got experience. We've probably signed him for a decent amount of money. I see him being a challenge. And now, going back to your point maybe before, D, about as an asset, I agree with you totally with certain players. You know, Olise, Eze, Edward, exactly. But honestly, with a goalkeeper, honestly, I don't really see the need to buy him and look to sell him on. We've got Joe Whitworth. Now, Whitworth is very, very young. He's 18 years old. He's got a big future, though. He's played for England under 18 side. Give him 5 years, send him out on loan. All of a sudden now, when Johnson's 34, you've got a 23-year-old Joe Whitworth, let's say, coming through. You know what I'm saying? So, as a goalkeeper, I kind of like the idea of having him around the squad to mentor someone like Whitworth and the other kids we have in the academy, talk to them, etc. So, I think, but again, as far as you got your original point, I definitely see him fighting Vicente for that spot. Vicente is going to probably want to leave at the end of the year, maybe go back to Spain. He's going to want to be in tip-top, not only condition, but in playing-wise, in order to get another contract for next season. Obviously, I think in Spain, he won't stay in England if he doesn't stay in Palace. So, for us, it's a great situation to have 2 goalies battling for number 1. In my idea, a club like us, that's what we want to have. We want to have competition at every spot, even a goalkeeper. So
for me, Johnson ain't joining Palace if he doesn't have assurances that he's
exactly. I agree.
But I think he understands that next season he might not be a starter, and I don't think he will. I think Vicente still gets that spot. But we might see it. If Vicente has mistakes, then you got Sam Johnstone. You could step up now to give that opportunity. But as you mentioned, though, Patrick, you got Jack Butland, Whitworth, and Remy Matthews, Vicente, and Sam Johnstone. So does this mean, out of all them lot, realistically, I can see one goalkeeper there that should be a starter, and that's Jack Butland. What does this mean for Jack Butland's future? Do you think he's gone now after the signing? Surely he can't be the third choice goalkeeper because he can start for teams. He's a starter goalkeeper. Like, he still has a talent. We saw it last season as well. He's had some good games.
I think without a doubt, you want him to go out on loan to a top championship side that plays football so he can practice more with his feet and then get him back next year to battle Johnson for number one. I said you
Also,
before.
so you're telling going out on loan, so you wouldn't sell Jack Butland?
I wouldn't sell him. Absolutely not. There's no point in selling him. I know we
Oh,
didn't pay. I definitely wouldn't have. I would definitely not sell him. I'd keep him for next season. Have him and I mean, imagine having again at the same exact age. They're both 29 years old. Imagine having both from next year battling for number one.
Do you think you'll be happy with that? Do you think Jack Butland will be happy as? But of course, when you do sign a goalkeeper, as a goalkeeper, you believe in yourself to be number one. So of
Exactly.
course, Jack Butland is not going to think, "Oh, I'm going to be second choice," because he's going to want to push Sam Johnstone. And I think that's very interesting. I thought Jack Butland will be gone on a permanent deal. But do you think Jack Butland would be up for that, or don't you think he's in his prime of he's entering the prime of his career? He wants to be settled somewhere where he's going to know he's going to be a starter.
Butler went through a lot of stuff with, previously with like Stoke had a major problem. He admits he had a problem getting back. I think for him, he's going to want to battle for the number one spot. Look at Man United. Dean Henderson signed with them. He didn't sign to be a backup.
That's different though.
No, but he signed to battle De Gea. He signed to battle De Gea, and it didn't work out. So he went out, and they just ended up getting rid of him, and he went to Forest, right? My point is, I think the mentality of a goalkeeper is no matter what, you want to play. You know what I mean? So for me, he definitely is signing to want to play Johnstone, and I think Butland's going to want to say, you know what? If I can get number one, I'll go out on loan, but next year I want to fight for number one spot. That's the mentality you have to have in your players.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's going to happen. I think Jack Butland is going to be gone on a permanent deal. I just I haven't thought about that as much, but I understand what you're saying. He could be challenging, but I feel like at this stage, Jack Butland must have joined us thinking that after Vicente is gone, he's going to be number one. Spot. And now there's another potential number one.
But he might still get next year.
As a player, maybe the mites and stuff wouldn't. It depends. Certain players are happy with maybe if he's on good wages, he's happy with that. But he might just want to be first team. There's no assurances that he will be because now we're talking about Sam Johnstone being that first option, and he's not dumb. He's gonna have that in the back of his mind. I think he's gone on a permanent deal, but let us know what you guys think. Sam Johnstone signed us on a 4-year deal. It's going to be interesting back there. We've got competition, we've got quality there, but I don't know if that competition is going to remain as strong as it is right now. Because for me, Jack Butland is gone. But let us know your rating in terms of what you signed about the Sam Johnstone signing. What do you give it out of 10? But before we go, Patrick, what's yours? Out of 10, Sam Johnstone signing, what do you give it?
8 out of 10. And if he battles Vicente and wins number one and plays really well, obviously 9 out of 10 out of 10. But right now, an 8 on a free, backup England goalkeeper, pushes everybody to be better. It's a great, again, I'll say it again, another Dougie masterclass. Really has. Smart.
Dougie masterclass. It is. For me, I'm going to have to give it a 7.
Okay.
Because he's in his peak, but I would have preferred a younger goalkeeper. And also, I still want to see how he is at Palace with the style of play that we do. Let's see how he is on the ball. Yeah. Let's see how he is in the Premier League. I'm going to give it a 7 as it's a free signing. He's in his peak. I think it's solid. But I don't think he's proven himself at the top level yet. So I will just take a step back and watch him and let him decide whether it should be higher than the 7. But that's it from me. And that's it from Patrick as well. Sam Johnstone is an Eagle. Let us know in the comment section down below on the signing. And as always, like, subscribe. And until next time, up the Palace.